Afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. Afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I know we're late. We're sorry to be late. We were really hoping not to start without Naima Laguerre, and I'm going to say her name as many times as I can. You be sure that you meet Naima Laguerre today. Naima graduated from the George Washington University last December, and she has been interning with us first as our communications intern, and then she took on organizing Come Home to St. Croix. And that's why I didn't want to start without her. She will be here before you leave, but when you see her, please thank her for the job that she has done. She took on organizing the entire week of activities, and she's done an amazing job with that. So Naima Laguerre, she is smaller than her name is long, but she's a powerhouse. Welcome. Welcome to Come Home to St. Croix. Our theme for this year is freedom. Are we story? Are we legacy? Are we freedom? And there is nothing more that I can add to that, except that when we look at our story from the continent of Africa, for some of us, from other continents for others, but certainly for the majority of people who ended up on St. Croix, who came from the continent of Africa, and when you see the exhibit that our junior preservationists, the students who took part in the UNESCO Transatlantic Slave Trade Project this year under the guidance of Mr. Dwayne Howell, Dr. Lauren Larson, Ms. Annika Johnson, and Ms. Zara O'Reilly. These students worked all year preparing for a trip to Denmark, and I should tell you the TST project is a collaboration between schools in Denmark and schools on St. Croix in the Virgin Islands. Denmark has sent a number of students over. This year was our first year sending a group of students. And just a little bit of background, until now, Denmark has not had a curriculum to teach about the transatlantic slave trade. So what these students and teachers are doing is helping to create that curriculum so that Danes will know their story as well as we know our story. And when you see, after this part of the program, when you see the exhibit that these students have curated, your minds are just going to be blown. It is the first time ever for the Landmark Society and Estate Wing Museum that an exhibit is curated by teenagers, including 2 junior high school students and other high school students. I think there were only 2 seniors amongst them. I don't know if they knew what they were getting into when they accepted this project, but I can tell you that they must be very different people now, having gone through this experience, and we are so grateful to them. So you will meet them later on, but from here, from this opening of that exhibit, of the Thompson family exhibit, the descendants of John Charles Thompson and his wife Sarah, that family that has produced notables like May Adams Cornwall, our immediate past director of the Waste Management Authority, in fact, I guess the first director of the Virgin Islands Waste Management Authority, who retired recently, notables like Mr. Philip Gerard. This family has produced people who are still making their mark on St. Croix in the same way that John Charles Thompson did, coming from slavery, from being enslaved to becoming a property owner and raising a family and a legacy that they can be very proud of. To everything that we're doing this week, tomorrow, if you need help getting started with your family history, I know some of you have started with your family history and you might be stuck. Come on, come. Bring your laptops with you. We're going to have a temporary network so that this will be a hands-on. You will be able to use our internet access to get onto some of the sites that we use. So it's not just us telling you about it and showing you, but you'll actually be able to hands-on do that. On Tuesday morning, we will meet at the wharf in Christiansted for places that matter, called In the Footsteps of Our Ancestors at the Slave Market. How many of you know where the slave market is in Christiansted, the main slave market run by the Danish West India and Guinea Company? A very small number of you. Congratulations to those who do. Dr. Meredith Hardy did not raise her hand, but she knows it well. She's working there daily. But we want everyone to know. There were other places where auctions were held. Just like in the States, there are a lot of places where some of the companies might even still be alive, or the families might still be around, and they would rather not be associated. But there were private auctions, but this is where the public auctions took place in Christiansted. So we're going to meet on the wharf. If you have flowers from your garden that you want to bring to add to the floral tribute that we place that day, please do, and that's at 9 o'clock on Tuesday. While we're there on Tuesday, Dr. Jeffrey Perry will be at the Golden Grove Corrections Center speaking to inmates about Mr. Hubert Harrison, who was born and raised on St. Croix at Estate Concordia East. I know sometimes West wants to claim him, but he's from Estate Concordia East near Salt River. Some of us call the area Barron Castle, after a restaurant that existed there long after Hubert Harrison was born, but that's Estate Concordia. And Dr. Jeffrey Perry will be speaking about Hubert Harrison. He wanted very much to speak not just to our audience, so we've arranged for him to speak to inmates at the Bureau of Corrections. And for them, it's important for us, for them to have as good a sense of who they are and who our people are, because they will one day be back in society. But even while they're there, they're interacting with our society, and we want them to come out stronger and be able to pass that strength on to others. Dr. Parry will then come here on Tuesday evening to speak to us. And Hubert Harrison is the father of Harlem radicalism. He's a contemporary of Marcus Garvey. Right up there with him in terms of building this movement. So you will find in our bookstore the book that Dr. Jeffrey Perry wrote about him, which is the first volume of his biography, as well as the book When Africa Awakens, which Hubert Harrison wrote. And there's another book, a compilation of other writings of Hubert Harrison, the Hubert Harrison Reader. And Dr. Perry will be here to sign his book as well on Tuesday after he gives a talk. And we continue. Wednesday we take a break because we are superhuman. Well, we think so, but you know, every now even superhumans need to rest a little bit. So Wednesday, no additional programming. On Thursday evening, an evening in the big yard here. Naima Laguerre, you're going to hear her name again, and Essence Carter, and Essence is around here somewhere, along with Malik Cepeda, were interns last summer of 2015, and they created an exhibit of a long row, a facade of a long row, so that we could begin to create this big yard here at WIM. So we're going to be in the big yard talking about and sharing some of the experiences and the music and everything else from life in a big yard, the part of a property shared by multiple families living on one property. That's Thursday. Friday at 6 o'clock. If you don't know how to dance quadrille, you just need to practice quadrille 101, and then Grand Crujan quadrille dance under the stars right here. And for those of you who may not know, rain does not stop a quadrille at Estate WIM Museum. The band will be on the shelter. We'll have shelter for you. If there's no rain, you dance under the stars. But if you're concerned about the dew or even a light rain, that we will have you covered. That's Friday night. Saturday, we get a break from Estate WIM Museum, but thanks to Doc Peterson and all of the performers who are part of the cultural extravaganza and expose, will be at Island Center for that concert. This group is traveling to Denmark in August. But we need to see it. Those of us who are here need to see it. And then Sunday we wrap up with an old time family day. Come Home to St. Croix is our opportunity, all of us, to celebrate our culture, our history, our family, and other connections that we have. So I thank you for being here. And now I'd like to turn over to Dr. Kofi Boateng, who is going to pour a traditional libation. This is a participatory libation. So I want you to feel free, and he will indicate when, to come up and name your ancestors and pour a libation to them as well, because this is something we do together. So thank you once again. Please applaud yourselves for being here, and applaud Dr. Kofi Boateng.
Hello, good afternoon. As Ms. Dow said, this is something that we all participate in every year. So what we're going to do, although I'm going to start by invoking the spirit of the ancestors, and I'm going to ask the ancestors to come and be with us, stand behind us, so that all the activities that are going to happen this week will be to their glory. And we will learn more about ourselves, about our families, and we will come in and venerate them. So when I finish, anyone who wants to venerate the ancestors can come forward, mention their name, and I hope I don't pour all the libation or the drink down so that you might have some. If most of it is gone, we will go to the bar and ask for more. I want to start though by really telling you what libation is. Normally in the African society, before we do anything, marriage, childbirth, and death, we always pour libation. Now, most people have thought that libation is actually worshiping of gods. But libation is not worshiping of gods, because even Christians pour libation in Ghana. Why? Because libation is actually the veneration of the spirits, the veneration of the ancestors. You know, we believe in the ancestors. We believe that the past can always tell us what is going to happen in the future. So the old people says, if you don't know your past, it's very difficult to go into the future. So before we do any celebration or any other festivity, any African setting, we first pour libation. Actually, it's praying to God. God is the Almighty. We believe in one God. We believe that He's omnipotent. He sees all, and He does everything. So before we carry on everything, we like to praise Him, give Him thanks, because He feeds us every day. Imagine you get up this morning and you were able to dress yourself. I know most of us don't think about that, but there are a lot of people who cannot get up. And there are a lot of people who cannot dress themselves. So we have to be thankful every time that we have the power to praise God and our ancestors. Because of them, we are here today. And because of the work that they did, you know, most of them toiled so that we can live better. And we are enjoying the fruits of their labor almost every day. So sometimes it's very befitting that we will give them a little drink to call upon them, to ask them to be with us in everything that we do. So I'm going to first speak to them in Ashanti, because that is how I learned to pray. And when I finish, I will translate it. As most of you know, Ashanti is in Ghana. And I can bet you that 99% of all the slaves that came into the Caribbean area actually came from the Ashanti coast. Now, if you want to know more about that, I can tell you more about that. Because there are records right in this building in Wim that shows the ships that came in. And most of them came from the west coast of Africa. Those of you who have had the privilege to go to Ghana, some of you might have known what we call the Cape Coast Castle, and also the Elmina Castle, where all the slaves passed through, no matter where they're from in Africa, even if they came from east, south, or north, they came to West Africa and then they left. So most of the people actually were inhabitants of the West African coast. So let us pray to the ancestors that brought us here, and because of them, we are here. Trade ampo assassin senio obutantim ensani akrobia ensanio fiano ahia yinna sabaha bio bompa yama ihia kwantente ne sade ihia so babe dina yachi babu ye ho ban ma yemenna hunyansa me yasunsi ma komne yen me yanim fra obabi opebe bia me se wo se mane bi ni Israel ubeshia ye mampani governor was St.Croix ni mpanimfo ni na senators ni na omhwe so misramu so Israel samura bidina yati asembi ameka asunafo aduana oyoko munina mumra medensa no mumedensa no mawie yo mamum yasunsi mamum yanimfra mum yankoso esiade amum yehu esrasa de mankwala wo krom hanna montro munyansa mum madepa bibion beye bia semo anenkoso o mankasi otumfo so babe dina etiawie awigina ye bompa ye kasa enkofo na ye free St.Croix na ye samra omunna babio ye babishia so se dinsan mo ye mpanimfo ya sefo womo ye hwe so nyina womo ye kan ye so ye hwe bibia ma ne koso ekuafo nsanu yo ye se so betonsu egu womo no ma so na kombeko na aduane aba so obeshira St.Croix so na bibia ebeye bia akoso ye ense bia ye betu bia manene ye mayo ensani o umameden sanu sese munna mo beba samanfo na ba so ya bedina yati ye bedina yati papa se bibia ye be ya wi edi nina mo be na akoso amayen and your money son. All that I said, or that I call on the omnipotent God, I praise him for giving us strength, for giving us the ability to dress ourselves, for being able to eat 3 meals almost every day. I ask that he could open our eyes so that we can see beyond what we see every day. I ask for wisdom and understanding so that we love our brothers. We don't hate each other. By in unity, we can unite because the ancestors said in unity, they were able to fight even slavery and all things that happened to them. So I ask them to come in and stand behind us. I ask for the blessings upon the governor and the senators and all people that are in high positions that really try to help us every day. I ask that God will bless them, God will keep them, God will give them the wisdom, the understanding, and the fortitude to go on. I pray for farmers. I ask that God will put water on their plants so that they can feed us, so that we can actually escape from hunger. Now, that escaping from hunger, the translation doesn't come out very well. It means that hunger will go away and that everyone might have food. In my Ashanti language, it's very, very easy to say. Then I call upon all the families that I believe make the Ashanti nation, the 8 families, the Akwana, the Adiana, the Asonia, the Abretufie, the Bretuo, all of them. I call them and ask them if any of their people were brought to St. Croix, they should rise them up so that we can venerate them. I ask that those people who came in and toiled, that we might see their significance and all the things that they did, so that we can have life easier today. Today we can do a lot of things. So I ask them that we thank them for all the things that they do, for all the hardships that they endure, that they will come and stand behind us in everything that we do. Then I ask for all the families that are represented here tonight. I ask that each one of you and your families and your ancestors might come and enjoy a little bit of the drink, and that they will stand behind you, that everything that you do, they might give you the wisdom, the understanding, and really the fortitude to go on. And I ask the ancestors that everything that we came here to do, everything that we are thinking about, they might make it come true. All right. Now, those of you who would like to come and venerate the ancestors, this is the time to do that. So if you want to come forward, there's still quite a little bit of the drinks in there. So you can come in and pour libation to your ancestors. Okay, I'll give it to you. I mentioned their names and pour a little libation. Pour a little bit of them in there.
Okay. Joseph James, Edwina Williams.
Yes. Good. Oh, that's very good. That's even better. That's even better.
Frederick James, Louisa James, Christiana James, Betsy Martin. And I'd also like to thank for all of those who have come from the other islands like St. Kitts and Nevis, who found here to be their home. So that for the Gittins and the Williams and the James and the Martins, I say thank you for all of them and for getting us here, and for my mother to be able to return home, to be able to participate.
And Koso. Yes. Okay. Oh,
Here. Proud to be one of the James family from way back. My mother and father. Okay, Louisa and Frederick James.
okay, I'll venerate them for you. Okay.
Thank you. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
John C. Thompson, Sarah, Waldemar Thompson, Rosamond Thompson, Chuddy Thompson, Victor Nielsen, Anna Roberts, Cecil Roberts, Rodney Singho, Gloria Singho, Henry Scott.
So on. All right.
Uriah Jacobs,
Evelyn Stewart.
Mariah and James Graham.
Thank you very much. So,
I'm going to pour to who I think was the first ancestor that came over from Africa, as far as I have been able to tell. His name was Moses. And to my mother's family, Virginia Sterling and her family. And my father, Almeric Christian, and all of his family.
Right? Anyone that wants to come up? I can feel the spirit are coming around now. So please, if you want to venerate any one of your ancestors, that is the right time to do it.
For Catherine, Arturo, Mary, Lawrence, Kate. I guess I'll throw Jarvis in there too. Thank you.
That's all. Yeah. Okay. Now, if the spirit move you, please don't sit down. Come and venerate them.
Okay, I'd like to do for my mother, who passed away in Jamaica, Viola Francis, and for my grandmother on father's side, Elizabeth Elliott. I give thanks.
Okay. Good.
For Christopher, my Amina ancestor. For his daughter, Bathsheba Christopher. Mary Joanne Cisco. John George Thurland. George Thurland. George Thurland. George Thurland. Will Thurland. Peter Thurland. Genevieve Thurland. Albert Roy Thurland.
No.
Winifred Thurland Sheen.
I know they're going to take every bit of the drink. So.
I'd like to honor my father's family, John Moorhead, Henry Moorhead. My mother's family, Beatrice Beck, Augustine Beck, and her father's family, Joseph Christian.
I would like to start with my mother family, Lucretia and Joshua Balfour, Anastasia Balfour, Anthony Balfour, Louisa Balfour, and all the other Balfours, Eglantine, Balfour, Isaac, Hosanna, Gertrude, Washington, Alfonso Washington, Charles. On the Doward side, my father, Ludwig Doward, and his father, Robert Doward, and my great aunt, Matilda Miller. So.
One for them too. Real thing. I want to make sure that the spirits come and drink it. No, when you finish, we're supposed to taste too. Oh, yeah.
So my mother and grandmother family, Roberts and Edwards.
Also, we say have. Oh.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I'm going to start off with Adolphus Edney. I can't remember first names, so I'm going to start calling surnames. The Walcott family, Edneys, the Smiths, the Thompsons, Pembertons, Bates, McFarlane's, Dowlins, and for those who I cannot remember, spirits to you.
Yes. Oh, no, don't come and play.
On behalf of my cousin Winnie Clark Hardy, to William Clark Sr., and because they seem so close to us, especially in these last few days, to our parents, Ira de Castro Jacobs Sr., Basilisa Rios Jacobs, Agnes Clements Dow, William Dow. Can't ever forget the first African-born ancestors, Yariko Frederick, who came here as a tiny little child, was brought here, and her husband, Jacob Frederick. As Mr. Edney said, for all of those whose names aren't being called, but whose spirits we feel close to us and whose shoulders we know that we stand on. Ashe.
We still have drinks in there. I want to remember some great ancestors that I have known in the Virgin Islands that have since gone and passed away. I want to call them Mr. Oscar Henry, Mr. Jacobs, Mr. Adams. I want all these great men to come here this afternoon, wherever they are and wherever they've gone to be behind us and do this celebration with us. St.Croix yesterday. Yes, I tasted it, and it's really strong drink. Thank you.
Good afternoon again. I said to Kofi earlier that the ancestors have seen the exhibit that the students curated, so we could pour raindrops and they would be happy, because that exhibit does so much to honor their memories and to recognize their passage and their arrival here, that I just think it's so powerful, and these young people are probably just beginning to know how powerful it is. So I know they're here. I know they're here. I know they're smiling. I know they're applauding the work that's being done. I want to call those students forward because they're going to tell us a little bit. I'm going to name all of them and have them come forward, and they will tell you a little bit about the exhibit, and they will come forward along with their advisors. Amid Francis, Kayla Cole, Habiba O'Neill, Kadia Joseph, Kishaila Navarro, Wentworth Gums, Shidea Parija, Chelsea Valerie, Ayana Hiss, Arnan, better known as Aaron Nikki, Taj Bates, who's one of our junior high students, along with Kishaila Navarro, and Naomi Poppin. There are other students from St. Thomas who are part of the project, but were not able to participate in the actual curation of the exhibit. Their advisors are Mr. Dwayne Howell, a member of our Board of Trustees, Dr. Lauren Larson, who's also a member of our Board of Trustees, Ms. Annika Johnson, Ms. Zara O'Reilly, Mrs. Carol Wakefield, Ms. Winifred Clark Hardy, who I hope will come forward so that she can be photographed as well, Ms. Mary Roebuck, who must come forward, Ms. Joan Felix, and we cannot forget Mr. Vegan Ellis, who constructed a key part of the exhibit, and you'll see that when you get there. Vegan is a joiner who's one of our tradition bearers. Please, before we give, well, let's give them a round of applause. St. Croix can do better than that. Let's give them a round of applause. And may I ask those parents and other family members of these students who are here to also stand so that we may applaud you for raising the kind of young people who would take on this project. Mr. Howell, I know you're tired, I know you've worked really hard, but you have to come this direction. You're not allowed to escape this moment. Thank you. Can you drag Winnie with you when you're coming? Because she's going to try to escape this moment. Don't let her. So I'm going, and I have to recognize somebody else. Where is Summer? Summer Sibley Brown. Summer Sibley Brown has been the education coordinator at St. Croix Landmark Society since January of 2000. She started in January of 2015 and is responsible largely for our transformation to a living museum where you can come and meet tradition bearers every day that we're open. But Summer was the one who had this fabulous idea to ask the students participating in the TST project to become our junior preservationists and to rethink the exhibit on the transatlantic slave trade. So that's Summer in the blue dress, and she deserves applause. She had the vision and the faith in what these students could do. So I want to recognize her. Okay, I'm going to turn over to students, starting with Ami.
During this project, I've learned a lot about slavery. It has allowed me to interact with a lot of new faces that gave me new perspectives towards slavery. With these new perspectives, it drives me to help the people of my community learn a lot more about slavery. Thank you.
This project was an incredible learning experience for me. I learned about the importance of speaking about things even though they might make you feel uncomfortable. You know, we were really interested in getting to the deepest truth that we could. And even if it made us uncomfortable, we knew it was important that we share that part of ourselves with each other so that it wouldn't be uncomfortable anymore. So, yeah.
I think the greatest lesson learned from this project was that we got to confront our intergenerational trauma. We couldn't just hide the past anymore. We didn't live despite the past. We lived with it, and it was a part of all of us and each and every one of us.
Good afternoon. This experience opened my eyes to many new things. I was one of those kids in society that wasn't really a fan of history and learning about slavery. And traveling abroad with the group, I got a family, and when we were down, when we were trying to find out what was going on and why it happened in Denmark, they were in denial. So this exhibit, I appreciate it very much because at least the locals and the visitors will be able to see what I saw in this experience. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I have learned a lot from this experience.
and I just want to say thank you to my great advisors. I have learned a lot from this experience. It has opened my eyes to a new world. I have learned about children in slavery I didn't really know much about, and it's just a great feeling to see the work that we have brought for everybody in the Virgin Islands.
Good afternoon. This exhibit was very near and dear to my heart because I was driven every day to come here and help out to put the exhibit together, because I feel like this is a great part of our history and it's a part of who I am, and it makes me who I am today. And I wanted to finish this exhibit to show the community, the visitors and the Danes alike, that this is a part of all of our histories and it makes all of us. Thank you.
Let's applaud them again. All of the students will be available when the exhibit opens, which is right now, to speak with you. Take a deep breath before you go in, is all I can say. Take a deep breath. They have created such a beautiful exhibit about such a painful time. And that, I've never seen one that could be done that way. And I think that's why I'm telling you, this is portfolio material. This is resume material. This is talk your teachers in. If you need us to help you talk your teachers into giving you a grade for this, letting this count for a grade. Make sure all of you, even those who are going off to college, make sure your teachers come here. Every one of your teachers has to see this exhibit. All of your family members, stand really tall and really proud. You have accomplished something that we can't even begin to measure, but it is something amazing. And I hope this will always be one of the highlights. I know you're going to go on to do much bigger and greater things, but I know this was always going to be a highlight of your life. And so we're just happy to have you. We're so happy that some of you are not graduating and will continue to be with us, because we'll see what's the next project. But we'll let them get some rest, Mary. I know Mary's over there saying Sonia's going to make them do something else. But no, they're going to get some rest. They're going to get to enjoy this. But I know they have much more in them. So thank you so much. I invite you to go near the stone building, the limestone building, where the slave quarters, the cookhouse. It's the room next to that. And the Thompson exhibit is in the South Exhibit Hall. And Annette Scott, who's part of that family. Annette, just raise your hand. She's part of that family, helped to create that exhibit. And there were teenagers who also participated in that exhibit, because this exhibit includes the Todman family and three of their teenagers, who I don't think are here today. But they also participated significantly in that, and I believe also Jason Saldano helped with that. And Rukia Andrews. Rukia is our volunteer. She wanted to be paid. Department of Labor didn't select her, but she's been here volunteering, and unfortunately had to have surgery this week, so she's not here with us today. But keep her in your prayers. She's doing a lot better. She's at home, but she too played a big role in the Thompson family exhibit. So thank you for all of these young people, and I thank God for them, because we're few in terms of staff and our core volunteers, and it's sometimes we worry about taking on interns, because we want to give them the best experience, and our preservationists. But if it weren't for the advisors who were here, all of them, we might not have pulled this off. But just want to thank everybody, and to say again, go see the exhibit. Thank you very much, and then I'll see you at poetry later on too. I just want to say thank you to our drummers, the II Rhythm Ensemble, Miss Nancy Heitzman, Mr. Olu Massey, and Miss Ida Scouten. And as always, to Mr. Edney for our sound system, and also to recognize streaming live from the BI, Mr. David Christian, and I just went blank. And Mr. Campbell Carter, who are here streaming for us. Thank you.